Welcome back to Reliving Retro. And we have a special guest.
We do.
You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Oh, geez. Yeah, David here, Augie's MTG. We have a podcast, the Augie's Cast, where we're very loosely magic-based. Otherwise, we do head shit and, have fun.
Do some other things.
Yeah, yep. We have a YouTube channel, too, where we do Magic the Gathering gameplay called Go Deck Yourself. We recently just released our first episode there. After doing a series, we rebranded. Yep, that's Augie's Media on YouTube.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah, so real quick, just want to talk about the Patreon. I don't know what we should do. Like, I'm asking viewers at this point. What would you like to see, like, exclusive content wise, like on Patreon? Like, we could do like top 10 type of videos or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was even thinking maybe for one of the podcasts, like we could send invites to people, since I think we can have up to like 100 people or something like that in this.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but cool. not everybody can be on screen, obviously, so they could just be watching it live as we record. We can do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know.
Watch party.
Yeah. We'll figure something out, but throw us some suggestions, because we do have a Patreon. There are people signed up for it, and if you do sign up for it, then you can kind of skip the line when it comes to what game you want us to play.
Right, game suggestions.
Yeah, so right now I think there's like 3 or something like that in the Patreon list. Episode 8 is our next Patreon episode. This is episode 6, so you got 2 weeks. If you sign up for the Patreon and you put your game in, right now it's like got like a 33% chance of being picked. So out of instead of just throwing a game on our master list, which has a couple hundred games on it, your game's going to have a lot better chance if you throw it up on the Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Next, I guess we're going to be talking about E.V.O, right? Because that's the game we played.
We did play that game.
Yeah. It was pretty fun, I'd say. If you guys tried to play it with us, you probably had a hard time trying to find an actual copy of it, because the loose price of this game currently is $333.
Jeez.
That's just the cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
If you want the cartridge with the box and the manual, that's about $850, and a brand new copy would cost you over $2,000.
Brand new? They still have them sealed?
Well, if you can find them.
Yeah, that's nuts.
If you can find them
That's
sealed.
insane.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. I believe this game, I don't think ever got a re-release anywhere else. As far as I could find, it's only been released on the Super Nintendo, which makes the obscurity even higher, right? Because it's never been re-released for another console.
Yeah,
it's like Chrono Trigger is a very expensive game, but they also made it for the DS, so
yeah,
it's kind of nice.
They had a PS1 release for it too.
Yeah, it was like was it on Chrono Cross? Is that what it was?
I think they had, it was like
Chrono Cross. It was like Chrono Trigger and something else.
Yeah.
As far as reception, like when this game came out, not a lot of people loved it. I think the highest score it got was like a 47% out of 100.
What?
Ooh,
yeah, people did not like this game when it first came out. However, recently, like kind of going back and looking at it, a lot of websites and like independent people have it in their top 50, top 100 Super Nintendo lists.
Yeah, that sounds about right. This game was pretty cool, I thought.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we'll start with Dave. Did you beat the game, and how many hours roughly did you play?
I didn't, and I probably put a good 4, maybe 5 hours into it. And I literally, the boss that clapped my cheeks real good for like a solid hour last night, and I was like, nah, I guess I'm not beating it.
Yeah, this game's pretty rough. It's a pretty hard game. If you guys watch my playthrough, you could obviously see that it's up on YouTube right now if you want to go check it out. Our editor Jack, he may or may not have put a 80s style montage at the very end, which I very much appreciated.
It was epic.
Yaiser, did you beat the game? How many hours did you play?
I did beat the game.
Congratulations.
Hours, probably 5 or 6 hours I put into it, I think.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's not too bad.
Yeah, I abused save state. I wouldn't have been able to do it without save state, I don't think.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, I got through it. And it was fun.
I got just past Queen Bee. and I found that was pretty difficult. And then I played through about half of the dinosaur age, or maybe a little less than half, and then I got destroyed by the big giant toad thing, frog guy.
Oh yeah, he's the pain in
lizard
the
toad.
ass.
Yeah. See, and that this is where like I have, I guess, one of my biggest gripes of the game. But I'll get into that when we get into gameplay, I think.
All right.
I probably played about 3.5, maybe 4 hours of this game.
Okay.
I'm not even kidding. I know this because I have an entire video on my computer. 55 minutes just trying to beat Queen Bee.
Oh,
That's how long I was stuck.
jeez.
It was rough. Some of that includes like the going back to train because when my horn broke, I'm like, are you kidding me? The horn breaks. So
yeah.
Did you buy the expensive one?
Yeah,
Of course.
Oh damn.
and then I went back and got it again, and then I never even used it to beat him.
Oh, you didn't at all?
No,
Oh man.
nope, never even used it to beat him. So
Wow.
even like that whole me going back and grinding to get the horn, it wasn't even worth it.
Not even worth it.
Yeah, but
Nope.
but we'll get into that.
That's
All right.
awesome.
Story. I guess I'll kick it off with story. I gave this story a 3.5, and it might seem kind of high. It's actually the highest score I've given story. It's tied with Medieval, but the reason why is just because I love the idea of evolving.
Right.
It's not like, it's really not a story. I mean, I guess it kind of is. I mean, you're basically just survival of the fittest, right? I looked up because I'm like, what is your character's name? Like, does your character even have a name? And I guess it's called, technically, like your character's name is Life.
Oh.
Which I'm just like, all right, I
There you go.
guess that works. So yeah, your character's name is Life, and you're basically just trying to evolve and just
Survive.
just survive. That's all you have to do. I did a bad job of that, but the story was pretty good. It's not really the story, I guess, that I'm giving a 3.5. It's kind of just the creativity of like how the game is played.
Right.
But go ahead, Yaiser.
All right. I went 3.5 too because I actually struggled with this. I was gonna go higher, and then because like it's the story, right? It's the story
Yeah.
of all stories. The story of life.
Yeah, you can't tell any other story without this story.
Right. But they didn't really make that story up, was my problem with it. You know what I mean? It's like
They made a
some
few
people
things
will say
up.
they did, but let's not go there. But yeah, there was also like the story within the story, you know, with like all that. So I did have a hard time, but I went with 3.5 too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave?
Yep, and it's going to be 3 of 3. I went 3.5 too.
Nice.
It is. I like I'm an evolution freak, so of course, so I like that overarching theme there. But the story within the story of save the little dinosaur baby, and you can go off on a side quest and get flying. So, I mean, that's not a major part. Or when you mistakenly join a clan, say I mashed the buttons a lot.
Yeah, I did that too.
And it's like, do you want to join the birds? And it's like, yes. And then it shows you just dying in the end, just become a fossils.
Yeah,
I like
it just
that
ends.
too.
The game just ends.
Yeah,
That's funny. I didn't even know that. That's like the biggest. That's kind of like the biggest like fork in the road, right? You can either become a dinosaur, or you can either stay a dinosaur or become a
Or
bird.
become a bird. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys, you chose to stay a dinosaur.
I did. Yeah.
And Dave, what did you do? What did you do?
I went human.
Oh,
So
okay. How do you do that? Because Yaiser didn't get to human, right?
I never did it. No.
Yeah, so when you're a mammal, you have to have cat jaws, rabbit body, and it unlocks this special body, Ramo something, and you pick that, and that's the baby monkey. And then you can evolve 4 times, and then you become a human. You get an axe.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I thought was really awesome. I guess we'll slowly seep into gameplay here. I really felt like that was an awesome part of the game, is that you could have a different experience playing through it. Like we all kind of experience different things.
Yeah.
I mean, you're somewhat limited in what you can evolve,
right?
But you can do different things, like almost like different types of builds, right? Because like certain tails would make you like jump higher, right?
Mhm.
Than other types of tails and
Yep.
stuff like that. So I thought that stuff was pretty interesting. I gave gameplay a 3.5, which might seem a little low. It was going to be a 4 for me, but here come the two gripes that I had.
All right.
The sprint is stupid. I hate it.
Yeah.
This is funny.
Double tapping
Double
sprint
tapping.
drives me insane.
Yeah.
The Super Nintendo has so many buttons. So many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that it was a really, really lazy choice to have them double tap a button for sprint. You could have just had shoulder button R or something like that,
right.
and
Yep.
walk should have been sprint.
Yeah.
And it would
as soon
have been so easy.
And on that D-pad's pretty sensitive too. So if as soon as you hit up or down, it like cancels your sprint. And it was tough to sprint.
I
sometimes.
just switched to my Xbox 360 controller.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for the emulator, because I was like, the Super Nintendo one wasn't really getting it done.
Okay.
It was tough for me. But yeah, so that was gripe number 1. Gripe number 2 that made this game very, very frustrating and almost unplayable at points for me was post-hit paralysis.
Yeah.
Every single time you get hit, you freeze for a second.
Yeah.
And it doesn't give you post-hit invincibility. So when you get hit, you just keep getting hit. So like during the boss, the frog guy, right? The toad, when he spits out all the baby toads.
Yep.
Those things just destroy me if I'm not on top of them. Yeah, there are certain moments, and then there's like one of the dinosaur levels where they have like the 2 dinosaurs that ram their heads together. Do not get caught in between 2 of those. You will be stuck forever. You're stuck forever.
That sounds bad.
Frustrating. Yep.
So those are my 2 biggest gripes.
Yeah.
With the gameplay, I think it's a really, really fun game. I really like the just like the creativity behind it and stuff like that. There's still really not a lot of games like this where you can do stuff. I mean, evolution's a big part of Pokemon, but it's not really done like this. So yeah, it was a 4, and then after thinking about it, I was like, those 2 gripes, they really hindered my experience. I'm gonna drop it down to a 3.5.
That's pretty hilarious because I also had it at a 4, but I dropped it down to a 3.5.
Yeah, because
for the 2 reasons you said, and also like sometimes trying to attack something, if you were too close to it, you would like leap forward for the attack.
I think I spilled my beer.
You would get hit and like not be able to do that attack.
Yeah, I hated that.
Yeah.
Oh man, did I get mad at these fucking games sometimes. But I mean, I did kind of figure that out. You can like attack before you get there.
Yeah,
I figured that out. I figured that out on the final boss. You could do
I was going to say, you kind of get an idea of like where the hitboxes are and how far away you need to be for like a certain attack.
Yeah.
But it is aggravating sometimes when you feel like the person's right in front of you and then your attack doesn't register and they hit you.
Yeah. That was very, very aggravating. But I like the toughness of the boss fights. And like pattern recognition type of boss fights is like, that's my cup of tea. Like Dark Souls type of boss fights.
For sure.
Where you just got to go in, recognize what their moves are so you can dodge all those moves and attack when there's an opening. Like that's my type of game. So I really did. I had it at 4, but those three whole reasons.
It is really funny that we
had to knock it down.
The 2 same reasons though.
Yeah.
Dave?
So I stuck with the 4, and I have a different reason with them. But I gave it the 4 because of that variation that you can have. You can change your color. Of course, there's always the optimal build, but you don't have to go that route. The gaming becomes very difficult because of that, but my actual gripes with the game is, like you said, Super Nintendo has a lot of buttons, and what do? All you do is jump and bite. Like you're just biting 95% of the time, and then jumping for bosses, but those early ones I actually blazed through because I remembered all the patterns from when I was younger.
Nice.
And then when I got to the Toad,
a long time ago, bro.
It was a long time ago. But the Toad, I couldn't remember the Toad, and that's the first one that gave me problems. And then I just farmed out the best Jaws.
Gotcha.
Nice. Yeah.
And that's the second thing I have against it is it's grindy.
It is really grindy.
It's
Very.
grindy.
Yeah.
It's in I guess I should make something clear. I think on the last episode I said that any RPGs would be kind of saved for our 2-week episodes. So the season premiere is always going to be it's going to be like a 2-week gap between episodes. So I'm saving RPGs. What I really meant is RPG type of games. So this is technically like an action RPG. But this game is doesn't take that long to beat. Like it's beatable in a week.
Yeah.
I meant more like JRPGs and stuff like that. Stuff that's so from what I'm going to say now is like 20 plus hours. Those games are going to be reserved for the season premiere episodes where we have two weeks to beat them. Anything less than 20 hours to beat. And if you're curious on how I figure that out, there's a website called howlongtobeat.com or something like that.
Of course there's
Be careful about whether you miss a word when you're typing that. But if there's like a search bar, you just search the game. It tells you roughly how long it takes to beat it. It tells you how many people have entered their reviews and their times and stuff like that. So it's a pretty good test of. I thought you opened them all.
Nah.
Okay.
It was you.
But anyway, yeah. So that's what I wanted to clear up about RPGs. Visuals. Dave, you want to start with visuals?
I gave it a 3. It's okay.
Okay.
The cutscenes mediocre. Some of the animations can be a little glitchy. I was using an emulator, so that might have been it too. But I just feel like sometimes it was glitchy. It's just kind of middle of the road. Nothing you're like, holy crap, that looks awesome or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
That does make sense.
Yaiser?
I went 4 on this though, just because of, I don't know, there's something about this generation of 2D graphics, the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I fucking love that shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And also like all the enemy designs were pretty neat, and like all the different ways you could make your character look and like with the colors and shit. I thought it was all pretty dope. So I went all the way to 4 on this one. Yeah, mostly because of all your evolution capabilities and possibilities and all the enemy designs, I think. So I try not to take graphics into this category as much with these old games, because there wasn't much they could do with it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I basically go on that character design pretty much for this, and I thought it was all pretty cool.
I think it's fair. I mean, you could I think incorporate graphics a little bit. Some Super Nintendo games certainly look prettier than others, just like some Nintendo 64 games look way better than others now.
Right.
But I agree with you. I think the visuals look really good, especially for that time. All the character sprites I think all look pretty good. All of the different evolutions, like Yaiser was saying, I really think probably the best looking part of the game are the bosses. I think they looked really, really good.
Yeah.
They were definitely my favorite thing to just look at. I mean, when they weren't destroying me for the most part, but I thought they all looked really, really good. And there's a ton of different enemies. It's not like you just walk through like an entire like world, like the like when you're a fish, it's not like you just fight like one type of like sea animal or whatever. So you fight a ton of different enemies. So I think that definitely ups it to a 4 for me.
Yeah. Cool.
And I also really, really liked just the environments. Like I think like the background and stuff like that. I think they captured that really, really well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yaiser, sound.
Soundtrack.
Oh, by the way, changing it to just sound, all encompassing sound effects, voices, whatever, all that stuff.
Okay, so this was a tough one for me because some of the music in this game is pretty cool. Like the loading screen menu, not the loading screen, but like the main menu before you load. That music is cool. When you're like looking at a map, that music's pretty cool. The boss music is pretty dope too.
I like the boss music.
But like we said earlier, this game's pretty grindy, right? So when you go into a level and you're trying to grind for 20 minutes and there's just 2 bars of music that just repeat over and over and over and over again,
it can be kind of annoying.
It was a little bit of annoying.
Because
Even so much so that even like Sarah was walking by me play this game, and she was like, well, music's kind of repetitive, huh? In this game, I was like, yeah, babe, I'm just trying to grind these fucking levels, you know? And like, I swear, some of the other music's pretty cool, but
That's funny.
But yeah, so because there was good music and bad music, I put it right down the middle at 2.5.
Nice. I really, really liked, I think my favorite music in the whole game was, it was early on. It was like when you went into this like water cave, and it sounded really, really cool. I thought that was an awesome sound, or an awesome track. And then I thought that the boss music was really, really good. There was something really satisfying about the munching noises that your guy would make. So I really liked that. I gave it a 3.5. I thought it was really good.
Okay.
I mean, it's, you know, I'm never going to look up the soundtrack of E.V.O and play it like in my car.
Right.
But it's pretty good.
All right.
Dave?
Yeah, I agree with you. I went 3.5 for the same reason. Like half the game sounds good, half the levels anyway, and all the boss fights do. And I like this animation sound, the sounds linked to the animations.
Yeah,
I'll forever
definitely.
like the jellyfish snapping at you is cool, and yeah, it's real satisfying getting that snap on an enemy and stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, 3.5. It's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right, Yaiser. How do you feel this game aged?
So I went. This game, it could have been higher for me if a couple things were different.
Yeah.
I went with 4 stars.
Okay.
It could have been higher if, like we talked about earlier, the controls weren't quite as clunky. And yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that could have made it higher. If the controls were smoother, like the sprint and the not getting stun locked just by running into some, like trying to attack somebody too closely.
Yeah.
It's pretty frustrating.
Yeah. So, but like, I feel like it is high because this game's got a ton of replay value, right? Like, I didn't even become human. I finished as a 4-legged mammal. You could play the game all the way through as a bird if you wanted to, or become human. I wouldn't mind playing the game again just to like be a bird,
right?
Or finally be a human.
I think the fact that you put enough time into it to actually beat the game when it's a difficult game, I think should show how well it aged.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Because if it aged poorly, you would be like, I can't play this game.
No, I wouldn't give it. But no, I really enjoyed playing this game, and I would want to play it again with a different build, I think, too. So I gave it 4 stars.
Dave?
Yeah, I gave it 4 too. Just I enjoyed playing it, so that holds up to modern games. So I think that means it aged pretty well. Yeah, the replay value, I might go back and try to do the bird flying school.
That sounds cool, right?
Yep. And yeah, some of the sounds, like especially those early levels, the water. So you know, you start a little fish every once in a while just to hear that music, and then you're good.
That's true.
Yeah, I like it.
I also gave it a 4, so it's 4s across the board here.
Oh, clean sweep.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it aged very, very well, which I think is another reason why, like, when people first started playing this game when it was released in the mid 90s, like for whatever reason they just didn't get it for the most part.
Nothing like it, you know.
Yeah, it got pretty bad ratings for the time of, you know, platformers and stuff like that. So I get why I guess it got bad ratings then, but it also makes a ton of sense that it excels now. People are just appreciating what it is now when it was really pretty ahead of its time. So I definitely think it aged really, really well.
Yeah. Is there any other game other than like Spore? Remember that game that was?
I remember
huge
Spore.
when it came
It's
out.
funny so when I looked up the reception of this game, it said that it wasn't until the release of EA's Spore that this game really started to get more notoriety. It was like, hey, this is kind of like a game back for the Super Nintendo, and people were kind of like, well, what is that game? And then and then it kind of resurfaced, and then that's when the value started going up for this game, saying basically Spore was a spiritual like successor to this game.
Yeah, makes sense.
Which I do see, but Spore was kind of weird because you can kind of just create your guy off the rip.
Yeah.
I didn't know how many people played that game, but me and Cody actually had it, so we played it all the time.
A lot of people played that game.
Really?
Yeah,
that's crazy. I mean, I guess it's not that crazy, but it's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So final scores here. I guess total scores. We had Yaiser coming in at the lowest with a 3.3.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Do you want to change it?
No.
Okay. Then I came in at a 3.7 and Dave came in at a 3.8.
Wow. Is this like our highest rated game so far? I think it is.
I mean, I could definitely figure that out in a matter of seconds here.
I think overall this is our
It is.
highest. Yeah.
Yep. It's a total. It's a 3.6. Next highest would be Wild Guns at a 3.33.
Wow.
Yep.
Both pretty dope games.
Yeah.
Imagine it didn't have stun lock.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean,
or just a couple more bars of music on some of those grindy levels.
This game really had a chance to be like perfect if it just fixed a few minor things in each category.
Things, yeah.
You know, it's a very, very good game. So I'm asking you guys, I guess, what would you consider like a good score? Because I feel that we've played pretty solid games so far. And if we're talking about like percentages, right, the most stars a game can get is 25. I just gave this game 18.5. Dave gave it 19 and you gave it 16.5. And don't you feel like this game is pretty good?
Yeah, it's better than that, right?
You gave it a 66%. I gave it a 74%, and Dave gave it a 76%. Do you feel like this is like
crazy?
That's wild, right?
Do you feel like 70s that's good game territory? Anything 80 and above is like you got to go play it.
Masterpiece type of.
Yeah, that's a chef's kiss.
Because I mean, really, you think about it, we're not giving out a whole lot of fives here. So for a game to score in the 20s, it's got to be pretty good.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I guess I just wanted to kind of shoot that around to you guys and also the audience to be like, man, they only gave it a 3 point, but like 3.8 is a very, very good score.
Yeah.
Like with our ratings and stuff like that, like that should be considered a very good score.
Right.
Anything 4 stars is like, that's one of your favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't put this in that category. I think it's a very good game, but I don't know if it's one of my favorites.
Like Portnoy with the pizza reviews.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly
anything
what I
over
was basing
7
it off.
is like good pizza. Like go get the pizza.
Right. That's kind of what I was saying here with like the 70%.
Right.
70% rule. Like 70% is that's good.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, your parents would probably be upset about it, like if that's what you got like in school, but like
I got plenty of those.
I mean, my mom was always thrilled because it's like it was either that or 50, mom. You know, make up your mind. But yeah, so I mean, those are our final scores. I think they're pretty fair. There were quite a bit of reviews I got on Facebook, and man, people absolutely loved this game. Like 5 out of 5, 9 out of 10, which is not what I asked for, but I appreciate the review anyway. But yeah, there were tons of reviews. Villain Christopher over on Facebook said, "Great game. Of course, love the Enix franchise, so I immediately was immersed into the quirky storyline and loved the evolution aspect. Probably started to get a little dull midway, and the evolution aspects got a little stunted. Strange animals, etc., and kind of lost along the way, and some excessive grinding was needed, so it showed its age a bit. But since I kept powering through, I completed the final chapter into and it was surprising that it was a worthy ending. I would add this to a top 100 list easily, based on the unique gameplay alone. 4 out of 5 stars."
Oh, you guys didn't see the ending.
I didn't see the ending.
Yeah, can I spoil it for you guys?
All right. Spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't played it. Go ahead.
It was pretty cool. So like it zooms
that's
out.
all you were gonna say?
Like, no, it zooms out of Earth and it goes to Mars, and there's these fucking Martians that were like, oh no, our plan didn't go quite as well. Our experiment didn't go all that well, but it turns out some animals can be quite strong or some shit. Like it turned out like the Martians.
That's pretty cool.
Planted life on Earth, and like it was their whole like thing.
That's pretty cool.
I thought it was cool.
What show is that they say that Earth is just like a reality show where they took animals and from all different planets to see if they could coexist? Was that South Park?
South Park.
South Park
Okay.
did, yeah.
I couldn't remember if that was South Park or Futurama or something like that, but yeah.
Suck my jargon.
I mean, there's a Rick and Morty episode too. The Show Me What You Got episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's you.
Show me what you got.
That's funny. Yeah, and then just all these reviews are basically like, love this game, phenomenal game. It was by Enix. What do you guys expect? Like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
I jammed on this game so hard when I was a kid. Boss music is 5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
yeah, there were a ton of really, really positive reviews on Facebook and Twitter about this. So appreciate anybody who gave me a review. Your feedback is always welcome. So would you guys recommend this to somebody else who has never played the game? Like if somebody's like, oh, I saw the podcast, whatever, like, should I play the game? Would you relive EVO?
100%.
Oh
Dave?
yeah, go play it for sure. Especially if you're like different shit.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I would definitely recommend that you go play it. And I feel like I like different shit basically. Like one of my favorite games for Xbox 360 is BioShock, and I feel like that's like one of the weirder games on there. And then there's another one called like Mirror's Edge where you're just a free runner and you just parkour through the whole game and just beat up people, and it's one of the weirdest games I've ever played. And I like the weird ones. You know what I mean? You're not really gonna catch me like playing like Call of Duty and stuff like that over and over again. But
I did play that too.
Yeah, I have played it, but I mean, it's not like that'll never stick out to me as a favorite game. But yeah, this game for its unique reasons, like I love it. It's a really good game.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so Dave, now is the time where we normally ask the guest what game you would recommend for us to put on our list. We hate to put you on the spot, but we're gonna put you on the spot here.
I got one. It's a Final Fight. I believe it's for Super Nintendo as well.
Nice, yeah.
It is a Double Dragon style beat 'em up. You can be co-op or single player.
Cool. I'm pretty familiar with the series, but I've never really played it. Like I mean, I'm familiar in the sense I know what the Final Fight games are, but I've never played it. I actually know enough that like Final Fight, when it was released here in the US, it didn't include the character Guy like they had in Japan, so they released a whole nother game called Final Fight Guy.
Really?
Yeah, and that game is extremely rare. It's a very expensive game.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so Final Fight Guy. No, I'm sorry. It's a regular Final Fight.
We can't afford that, bro.
It's going to be added to the retro list.
Cool.
Now we are going to do the randomizer to see what game we are playing next.
Ooh-wee.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So our next game is a 3D platformer released in 1998 on the Nintendo 64, starring 2 animals, a bear and a bird.
Okay.
Dave, do you know the game?
I don't.
It is Banjo Kazooie.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
I'm pretty excited for this one. I played this one a lot as a kid, but I've never beaten it. You ever play it, Yaiser?
I don't think I've ever played this game.
No?
No.
And Dave, have you ever played it?
I have not.
All right.
You gonna play it with us this week?
Oh yeah, I will. It's Super Nintendo. I have an emulator now. Might as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty easy. I mean, if you don't have like the console and stuff like that, you can definitely just emulate. It's fine.
Super easy.
Yeah. If you guys don't know how to get an emulator, just YouTube.
Google it.
Yeah, N64 emulator, how to download.
Yeah.
And people will show you how to download it step by step. It's super easy. They even like, hey, put this file in this folder and you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's super simple.
Super easy. I think I already have an N64 emulator on my PC. Actually.
Yeah, you do, right? Because of Beer Olympics.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's why.
Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart.
There you go. What else do we have to do? I think that's pretty much it. Just
That it?
Yeah. Just
Cool.
Join the Patreon. Okay.
Yeah, do that.
Let us know what we should do for exclusive content on there, because I'm curious what you guys would like to see.
Yeah. You want to plug your stuff again, Dave?
Yeah, find me AllG's MTG on Instagram, the AllG's Cast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, AllG's Media on YouTube.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, loads of fun.
For sure. All right, guys. Catch you later.
Peace.
Peace.